Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is still testifying before a joint Senate committee hearing where he's facing a grilling on user privacy. Senators want to know how Cambridge Analytica, a data firm hired by the Trump campaign, obtained the data from as many as 87 million Facebook users for political targeting. But here is what this all comes down to. Targeted advertising is how Facebook makes its money.
Your first visit to Capitol Hill back in 2010. You spoke to the Senate Republican High-Tech Task Force, which I chair. You said back then that Facebook would always be free. Is that still your objective?
Senator, yes. There will always be a version of Facebook that is free.
Well, if so, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
There it is right there. Zuckerberg defended the business model, saying that Facebook hears from users who would prefer content that's relevant to their lives. But now the price of that, user privacy, is in the spotlight. The question now is whether regulation of social media companies like Facebook could come next. Joining me now is Minnesota Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar, who was in the room with Zuckerberg today. Senator, thank you so much for walking out and joining us. What is your impression of Mr. Zuckerberg and the answers he's giving the Senate right now?
Well, I think, first of all, he has said this was a major breach of trust, which is significant and different from what they said initially. And then he has also focused on privacy rules and blatantly said, yeah, we may have to have some privacy regulation in place. And I just figure we have a product now, not just Facebook, but all of these social media platforms that are paid platforms that are making a lot of money, and we have to make sure that the laws are as sophisticated as these products, and then the people that are trying to violate people's privacy and steal information. So, you know, that part where he said, yeah, we make money off of ads, that is true, but that doesn't mean that people should involuntarily have their personal data given to political consultants for use in political campaigns. You
know, there was a striking moment when Senator Graham held up the extraordinarily thick paperwork that you have to go through, basically the sign on for users to go through when they say they want to use Facebook. It's something that Mark Zuckerberg even acknowledged that nobody reads. So given that, is there any talk amongst senators or lawmakers of having something akin to a user's bill of rights, something like you did for passengers, something that says you can opt in, or here's how your data will be used, it can only be collected for a short period of time, et cetera?
Exactly. We did that with cell phones. We did it, as you point out, with airlines, and that's exactly the kind of thing that needs to happen here. Not only should you be able to have some rules of the road for how you can protect your data, you also should have, if there is a breach, some rules. And I specifically asked him, well, how about 72 hours? Shouldn't there be a requirement that you have to notify a user of a breach? And he said that was something that he was open to, and I think it's just the example. And remember, he's just one CEO, and we've got to talk to consumer groups, and we have to talk to other companies and figure out what works here across all platforms. But we clearly need to protect people's privacy. The other significant thing was the political ads, and he has endorsed my Honest Ads Act that I have with Senator McCain and Warner, and today Twitter came on board after we've seen a lot of feet dragging from the tech companies in terms of making sure that the political ads are disclosed and that there's disclaimers. Major problem in the last election.
The same way they are when they play on television. So you have the endorsement and the support of Facebook and Twitter. What about the endorsement and support of your colleagues in the Senate? Is this something that's going to get passed?
I'm not worried about the Democratic side, and I know that Senator McCain's on there. Senator Graham and Kennedy are not, but they've expressed interest in the bill and have said good things about the idea. I just hope that it doesn't get stopped by the fact that people want to continue to run slimy, sleazy ads, and they figure their best way to do it is targeted internet ads. In Facebook's case, they're actually going to show those ads. So if you're in the suburbs and think that you don't want to have sleazy ads run against a candidate based on things like immigration or based on issues like, say, gun safety, you're finally going to be able to see those ads. And I think that's going to be very helpful for candidates in political campaigns as well as the press. And that is the only way we can have free and open elections, because otherwise they're hiding the sleazy ads.
Do you use Facebook?
Yes, oh, I do. I just put up my dad's 90th birthday, wishing him happy birthday with a photo, Tammy Duckworth's baby, and then, of course, plenty of posts about Facebook and Twitter and what we need to do to pass this bill. I think it's a helpful way to talk to constituents.
Why were you not inclined to delete your account after all of this?
Because I believe that you can do better. I believe that we can't cut ourselves off from social media, whether it is Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, and that what we need here is not to stop these brilliant companies from their operations, but instead put in common sense regulations that protect our privacy and also, with the elections ahead, protect our democracy. And nothing was happening until this breach was exposed.
The tech industry is young, it is innovative, it is very fast moving, it's hard to keep up with. Congress, on the other hand, is slow moving. No offense.
Thanks,
and
Katie.
it's not young, and I don't mean that
Right.
to be offensive
No.
either, but does that make it difficult in trying to find a way to regulate a company like this?
It did. I appreciated some of the tweets that said I appeared to understand how this worked compared to some of my colleagues. But I think that, sure it is, but I think you can craft good legislation. I'm working on some things now. I think you can do that and make it work. I think doing nothing and just putting your heads in the sand and say, well, we have a bunch of people that have been around a while, so we can't get it done, that's just no answer to give to the American people.
Senator Klobuchar, happy birthday to your dad.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
See you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.